You're saying that a Tesla is too much, so basically you have a limit of what your kids can ask for, right?
I don't have a limit on what they can ask for, but it has to be reasonable. I'm not gonna. I can get my kid a Mercedes, but I'm not gonna buy it for her.
So that'll be you don't buy your kids what they want. It's a limit then, right? Because if you can afford a car that your kids is asking for, because I don't like my daughter been driving since she was 14. My mom teach all my kids at 14 to drive, so if emergency come, they'll be able to handle it, right? So you're saying that it got to be reasonable. So that means your kids have a limit of what you spend on them. Me, there's no limit. My kids are mine, and and what I want them to have, I'm gonna get it. Like so, I can say to you, well, you're their mother, but you have a limit. And if you're saying you can afford it, then you put a limit on your kids of what they can have.
Well, I'm showing them what's reasonable, and if they want something different when they're older, they're well within their right to spend their money.
I'm feeling this. I'm your professor, I will test you in the worst way. Don't bring a scantron, it's pop quizzes all day. Cause of our chemistry, we do biology.
What's happening? What's happening, man? The L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail, you see the clip, and it took if you when you get to the end of the clip, you'll see the difference, right? You got one parent like I got money, so I'm gonna give my kids everything. Hey, my kids, I'm gonna give them everything. You got the other parent like, nah, I'm gonna give them what's reasonable. I'm not gonna let them get accustomed to just me giving them stuff. And even in the comment section, there was you know, the two ideologies were split. Like, yes, if you can do whatever you want to do to take care of your kids. And then other people's like, no, if you do that, you're going to have grown adult children who still living off of you. Because you're just giving them everything. Give them this and give them that and give them this and give them that and give them this and give them... And other people are like, man, yeah, I think it's great parenting. If my kid wants something, that's what they going to get. It's like, okay, all right. And then other people are talking like in a sense where if you're really gonna just be do the reasonable thing, that's kind of saying you're gonna do the bare minimum. That's kind of abusive, and it's like, oh my goodness. But in my opinion, you don't give your kids everything. You don't, because if you give them everything, they work for little or nothing. They expect the world to give them everything, and you want your kids to grow up to be adults, and they're gonna be looking at other adults to give them everything. Now the people that they date owe them. Family owes them. Friends owe them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, who they're in relationships owes them. If they get a job, the co-workers owe them because everybody got to do something for them. They get a inflated sense of self. You know, they get an overinflated sense of self. So we got a problem. We got a major, major problem. You know, and I've seen it. Where the parents are like, I give my kids everything, and it sounded good. It sounded good at 5. Sounded good at 10. Now the kid 15 and you like, what the hell, this kid want everything. You still spoiling them? Okay. Okay. Now your kid got a case of affluenza. And I remember watching, I forgot this person's clip. They was like, black people, some of y'all have got a good life. And what you trying to give your kids as a parent is white privilege. And you forget that they black. And that's what's going on. I just want you to walk around and la-di-da-di-da, and I deserve it all. It's like, no, you don't. And the reason why this, for me, is a good topic is because we don't look at the end. See, a parent who gives their kid everything forgets that they're probably going to be a grandparent. So if you give your kid everything, and then your kid grows up to be an adult, and your kid really 9 times out of 10 is not the earning type because you gave them everything. Guess what? They're gonna think their kids owe them too. And you as a grandparent now that you gave your child who becomes a parent everything, now you're gonna have to, now you got to give your grandkid everything because your kid ain't gonna give them nothing, and you still might have to help the kid because they're not willing to be a full adult. Sounds good in the beginning, doesn't end well. And guess what? If you die, that kid cannot depend on your child, their parent, because you coddled that kid from the womb to your tomb. It's bad. Doesn't end well. It sucks. And then, you going on to the afterworld of by and by, and now you looking down from heaven like, I messed up. Lord, 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 I need you to give my grandbaby a blessing. Because I've been blessing my child, and now I realize my child ain't going to bless their child. And what happens if their child has children? They can't, how they going to, my child going to be the grandparent that need to be taken care of. While I took care of them as a child to an adult. And while the kid going to wind up taking care of them when they become an adult. And the grandkids going to have to take care of them when they become an adult. And who they taking care of? Nobody. Nobody. So they're not bringing anything good to people's lives. They're taking away from people's lives. And you enabled this behavior. You cultivated this behavior. So in my opinion, it's better to be reasonable. And sometimes, and I've seen it before where you might have grew up in a situation where your parents couldn't do much for you. So now you're parenting, you're giving your kids what you wanted to have. My parents couldn't do nothing for me, so I'm going to do it all for you because that's what I wanted. And that's not a good idea. Because now you're not really parenting your child, you're parenting yourself. And you and your child are two different people with two different people, with two different childhoods, with two different parents, in a different era. So, and at the root of it, that's just selfish. Selfish, and it's not necessarily self-serving, but it kind of is, because you wind up creating a child that you wanted to be, which is a child that just gets showered with gifts all the time. But you forget it's gonna come at your expense, and even if the money don't run out, you're gonna get tired of it. Not even out of a hateful thing, but it's gonna be, man, I want my kid to grow up and spread their wings and leave the nest. And they gonna say, why? I got everything here. I don't need to go nowhere. And now you wind up in a baby boy, baby girl situation, where the mama's at home, the mama, the grandmama's dead, mama took over grandmama's house, and son is living in grandmama's house with mama, acting like it's hers. Moving people in. Melvin in there naked, drinking up with all the Kool-Aid. But I'm going to leave it at that. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna take you there.